How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
But we are live, and we got a very special guest today. So we'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. And we are back. We got a very special guest today. I'm going to let her introduce herself to the audience. But this is Dr. Paige. So you want to introduce yourself up to the audience and tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Paige Roberts, and I practice sports psychology. And my undergrad's in exercise science, my master's is in social work, my doctorate's in holistic health. So I work with individuals on a really holistic, energetic level.
How long you been doing that for?
About 12 years now.
12 years. So you're deep in the game then.
Yeah, it's your baby, right? It's your life. So yeah, I'm deep in it.
So it's your own business now. Like, so before you started out, and were you working for somebody or a hospital or anything like that? And then you started out right off the gate.
Yeah, so I was the program director for all the government assistance programs back in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, the area in Colorado I'm from. And my dad got cancer, and it was terminal cancer, and so I kind of had to make the choice: do I leave this position and go be with my dad, or really prioritize my career? And so I ended up leaving, of course, and spending time with my dad. And then I decided that I would teach skiing for a season because my dad really loved skiing, and that's what he was all about. And so after he passed, I did that, and I worked with he had been a college athlete, much like myself, and at the end of the season, he took his own life. Oh, and wow. So I was like, oh, why do all these athletes continue to complete suicide?
Was it football?
He did play football in high school, but he was also a downhill skier. And he played lacrosse in college. And lacrosse is pretty bad because they actually run really fast in lacrosse, and so it's a lot of velocity when they're starting and stopping and that kind of stuff. But regardless, he took his own life, and I was like, these athletes keep killing themselves. And about that time, the NFL had been litigated around the concussion, issues. And so I started going after these doctors and learning all that they knew about this kind of stuff. And I had had concussions myself in the past, so I knew that they weren't great. You didn't feel amazing after it. My high school swim team school bus actually crashed going to our first meets. Damn. And so we deer ran out, and we did a 360 and went off an embankment and rolled. And so I hit my head and dislocated my shoulder and kind of ended my swimming career. But so we all had some post-concussion syndrome from that, and it kind of impacted my sleeping and that kind of thing. So I knew that it wasn't great, right? And there had to be something to all this. So I ended up getting trained in this trauma reprocessing therapy. I ended up finding photobiomodulation light therapy, which helps the brain also heal from concussions, and then audiovisual entrainment. And so I put all of them together, and I was really going to change the trajectory of what it looked like to tune up your nervous system, as opposed to after a concussion or after trauma happens, as opposed to kind of going down that mental health track. So it's been this passion project, mission, purpose, ending suicide in athletes and finding the best techniques to help them recover from sports injuries of any kind, including concussions.
So this journey you've been on, it seems like it's been pretty rough. It's been an experience.
Yeah. I'd had some stress fractures from overtraining syndrome and having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I went on to run in college, though, so I overcame that by having to do different physical therapies and a different track when it came to training. And so I'd had, these friends that were also fellow athletes in college, and one of them, he was the secondary quarterback, and he took his own life, and he was 20 years old, and I was 19 at the time. And so I got a taste of it then of just why do these athletes kill themselves? This is awful. And so moving forward into having my own sports injuries, and then the school bus wreck, and then that happening, it's I kind of had this idea around There's a lot that goes on with high performers and perfectionists and individuals that, are adrenaline junkies, essentially most athletes are, and all that kind of thing. But, it's been my own trial and error around a lot of this stuff, and, like my own healing journey, I guess, is what they always say. It's like cliche, but it got me into just wanting to prevent others from having to go through these things or lose people and all that kind of stuff.
So it's called CTE, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Do you think most of it, and the ones who do take their life, do you think it's more of the head trauma, or do you think it's more of the pressure from everybody, and you have to perform a certain way, and you have to be an athlete and a role model? What do you think it's more of?
It's a combined, Yeah. So the nervous system, it's stress on the nervous system. And what really happens with CTE is the brain begins to be so inflamed and lack of circulation that the tau protein builds up there and it doesn't leave. Also, it becomes misfolded over time because these little chaperone cells can't get it out of the body fast enough. So what that all means is that if we increase the circulation, decrease the inflammation in multiple ways, that and it'll actually help repair the tissue. We can have that aspect. And then when you look at the other piece of the inflammation, it is the stress in their environment. So that's what you're talking about, the pressure and having to perform and being televised and all that kind of stuff that athletes have to face. It all combines together to cause this inflammation, lack of ability to really detox that tau protein. And then just your mental health's not going to be right if you don't have good circulation of the brain. It's all Dr. Daniel Amen's work around it that we've known for a while. But with all the stuff of sports, these big sports teams would have to be liable to provide a whole bunch of treatments that, and take athletes out more often and some of those things. So we're just kind of at the bare minimum, and it's really up to the athletes to kind of find the avenues to do these things, the preventative things, and because these sports orgs aren't going to do that.
Can you take me down, like, let's say I was an athlete and I was going to work with you. Can you take us in the audience down, like how this would go, like working one-on-one with you?
So, like, the techniques that I provide, the most important one is the trauma reprocessing. It's an altered state technique. And so what that really looks like is having the athlete make a whole list of all the stressors or challenges in their life, sports injuries, overtraining syndrome, of course, big losses, generational stuff, if they have access to that, because we know that a lot of athletes, especially our BIPOC athletes that have ancestral trauma, that's 7 generations down. So those are things that you kind of need to gather from the athlete to start to be able to work on that stuff, because you literally can kind of like reprocess in the altered state generational trauma that will impact the health of your nervous system now. And
so you do believe that generational trauma, like from ancestors, can affect you?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And we see it just with a lot of different brain area activity, as well as just the amygdala being kind of hypervigilant. And so it can really inhibit a lot of individuals' decision making or working from a space of a nervous system that's just not healthy to begin with. So then you like throw in some football and this inflammation and all the stress and pressure and more dysregulation in the nervous system. It's kind of a recipe for disaster for just health in general. CTE, autoimmune stuff, diabetes, heart disease, all this stuff.
Is there any really real way to go around as far as like CTE and the head trauma? Like has the football league done anything that's been explosive enough to kind of like, you know what I mean? Stop it?
No. The thing is it's all about if we actually knew if the brain was inflamed and having the proper time for the brain to heal and having proper interventions that could help with that. So that's not going to happen when they're playing every single week. So it's kind of not realistic. The best that you can do is do some of the things in between and try to prevent stuff. But they don't, there's not enough hours in the day, too, as a team for some of the stuff to be implemented as well. Because, there are a lot of things that we can do to increase the cognitive health and all that, but
you just need more rest. The body needs more rest than what they give.
Body needs more rest. Body needs, like, the right red light and near-infrared light therapy, the cryotherapy, the saunas. all of the things that you see some of your really, like a lot of quarterbacks and stuff really invest in a lot of this and the length of their career. And it's absolutely pertinent to have those things to try to better your chances of not having to do as much damage control post playing. Right?
So like Muhammad Ali. That so it really took an effect on him, and that's why the whole was it Parkinson's and
Yeah.
So that's like one of the examples of how it can go.
Yeah, neurodegenerative. So neurodegenerative means lots of different things, and it can be caused by mostly malfunctioning and areas of the brain not firing in the sequence that they should. So you start to get things like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, Lewy bodies. Lewy body, it's just really sad, but the foundation is really going to be neuroinflammation, right? So, and lack of circulation. So that's why I'm talking about we have to clear the trauma from the nervous system and reset the nervous system. And so going more into the altered state work, I have to make this generational trauma, family trauma, their trauma, sports stressors list. And then we have the athlete listen to these sounds, which are bilateral binaural frequencies, which drop you into an alpha brainwave, so you are in the altered state. Just like if you were doing like psilocybin or something like LSD or something like that. Because once we're in that brainwave state, we can shift the subconscious programming and actually reset the amygdala to not be as hypervigilant, so not as much cortisol, not as much inflammatory biomarker. And then we can also calm the nervous system so that it's more parasympathetic dominant, which is more relaxed all the time in recovery and repair. Because sympathetic is going to be our fight, flight, freeze, and hypervigilance, not being able to sleep, all that kind of stuff. So with this altered state work, we literally have you listen to these sounds, you're dropped into the alpha brainwave, and you go back through all these experiences and tell the story in as much detail as possible and access where you feel the energy move in your body, that your body and the emotions that are stored from it are being held. And we manipulate the visual path because each eye operates independently. So we'll tell the story with one eye, then the other eye, and then integrate them together. And then that'll fully reset your nervous system, so reprocess and desensitize the trauma. With athletes, this increases their reaction or decreases their reaction time, so enhances their reaction time. And we've seen that. I've done QEEG brain scans for the last 9 years, so I can actually show an athlete that we've reset their nervous system to more alpha, staying in that flow state all the time, and also enhances their reaction time. So we know that's less neuroinflammation, and then we also see increase in voltage on the brain too. So that's like the neuroenergy going through the brain on a daily basis. So yes, that's what that component is. So increasing that circulation, bringing back the energy, helping the reaction time, and then we add in the photobiomodulation, which is near-infrared red light therapy. So it helps by stopping the microglial from overpriming and attacking the brain, because it's supposed to be cleaning the brain, but it goes haywire when there's too much inflammation. And then it also stimulates our mitochondria to increase in number and size, and then we release more nitric oxide. So nitric oxide is an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, so it combats that cortisol inflammation also. So, and it increases circulation, so more oxygen distribution and antioxidants to the brain. So we can actually heal the tissue through that way. So we've calmed the nervous system, added in that, and then we can move into audiovisual entrainment. So when we get a concussion, the leads, if we're looking at the leads to the organs in the brain, it actually gets knocked offline when we have a concussion. So we have to do audiovisual entrainment, which is just flashing lights and sounds to get the whole system, the HPA axis, essentially our little glands back online again. So that's why like a lot of individuals will have hormonal stuff, not be able to sleep after a concussion because it's messed with their glandular system. So it's not going in its hierarchical order. Human growth hormone, but primarily all the hormones, if they're impacted, it's not going to be good. So that's kind of the trifecta. And if an individual does that, we can reverse things, prevent things, and enhance functioning and reaction time and all that.
Wow, there's so much to it. It even seems like, because even in just mental health, like right now, it's so big in mental health right now, and you even start with that. It sounds like just you break down like everything about the person before you even get into anything. Mm-hmm. So I mean, just talking about in mental health right now, men and women. I mean, what would you say about that right now? Because it's big, especially on like social media and all this different stuff going on in the world. What would you have to say about that? Because you're breaking it down to a science, and a lot of people say that's not even like realistic. Like, well, no, your past traumas and all that kind of stuff. But is that, because you're telling me something completely different, and this is you're being scientific about it.
Yeah, your past is dictating your current reality and your future nonstop in the subconscious programming.
It repeats.
Wow.
It's like how
Can you say that to the camera? Because honestly, that's like really, because we do a lot of different podcasts in here. And can you say that one more time to the camera and explain that a little bit?
Well, just the past repeats itself, and you have to heal it. It's the subconscious programming. So our past dictates all of our behaviors. There's survival mechanisms. There's survival behaviors. Every single thing we do is based off of a need that wasn't met or something we experienced that was negative and we're trying to prevent it from happening. Interpersonal relationships, they're almost humorous. It's the number one reason that people seek therapy. And all you're doing in an interpersonal, intimate relationship is healing each other's traumas. Yeah, that's all you're doing. That's what it's all about. You're going back through and saying, hey, what needs weren't met from you, from your father and mother, and how can I meet those needs? And how can I not trigger you to think those needs aren't going to be met? But you have to go back through and reprocess and desensitize all of those things so that they are no longer triggering you, so you can actually do that work.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously it's really difficult to do the work in the moment because you can't see it. So you have to go back through and reprocess all those hurts and pains and then be able to go back through and say, hey, this pain caused this. This is how I react in this way, and this is why I react in this way. And it's mostly the attachment disorder stuff. The avoidant attachment, the anxious attachment, the fearful attachment, all of these attachment styles that we have, it's all just protection mechanisms. But you can reprocess to actually be a securely attached person and open to love and not fearful of it. I mean, we just find that people criticize each other, people hurt each other, people cheat on each other, people are always looking for something better, people are putting each other down. It is all based off our wounds and what we are projecting onto others that we need to work on, because then we will no longer project onto others.
And where would you say for them to start? Because just so you know, we do these things called DNRs, dating and relationships, and there'll be like 6-7 girls in here from all different walks of life, from OnlyFans to porn star to a good housewife to everything, right? And there's just some crazy trauma on this show a lot, and we talk to them. We just go back and forth on different types of dating. So I mean, on some of these, a lot of people don't think there's something wrong with what they do, you know. But it's wild, the stuff that they're doing. But how would you start to recognize that? You know,
You literally have to just sit down and go back through and think, okay, what were the things that didn't serve you, that you did not get from this, parents' behavior? And if we're talking about like daddy issues kind of stuff, and I know it's all that cliche daddy issues, mommy issues, but it's absolutely true in some senses. I mean, we need certain sets of needs being met by either mother or father. It doesn't really matter if it's, 2 women, 2 men, whatever that looks like. We need these set of needs being met, and we need to have a role model of intimacy between parents. And so it all goes back to what you didn't get then. So bad treatment, yes, the trauma, but also what you didn't get. That will shift someone's ability to essentially heal some of those things.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious about a lot of things, because I feel like you know your stuff, and I bring a lot of people in here, and a lot of the times I'm like kind of iffy about it, but I feel like you're really deep in what you do and you know your stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of thinking like analyze, like are you able to like look at somebody and kind of analyze where they're coming from pretty quickly?
Yeah, because it's energy.
Analyze Rico.
He's a bullshitter, right?
So I wanna see. Can you do like a quick analyze of one of us? It'd be great for everything. Like, do you want to though? Is that something you're okay with doing?
You need more time.
I would need a little
asking
more
questions or whatever. Well, yeah, you want to ask questions, whatever you want to do. Is that something you want to do though? Are you okay?
I certainly could. I
think it'd be great to show you what you can do. I think it'd be great.
Sure. Well, if we start talking about things that hurt you in the past, what were if we go all the way back chronologically, what was the first worst thing that ever hurt you?
Jacob.
Either one, whoever wants to start.
Go ahead, Jacob. Start with you.
Oh, so okay, you don't want to.
Go
The
ahead, Jacob.
first thing, I would think maybe my parents getting divorced. Probably.
How old were you?
I don't know. I can't even really remember it.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
making noise. It's making
I have like a whole like blocked memory of that whole thing.
Wow. So what we would want to do with some of that would be go back through and as you were a child, like what that would have looked like and the things that maybe you could have missed with that. So that's how we kind of start talking about that, especially since you didn't have a memory because your body experienced it. So we would still need to talk about it to kind of clear it.
Yeah, so me and my brother both don't remember it.
Well, and whatever the story that your mom or dad can tell around it too.
Yeah, they've told us some stuff. Like
We can-
it's mad trauma, like that whole thing. But yeah,
We can write out the story and process that trauma for the body without having to have the memory if someone tells us what it is. That's kind
okay.
of interesting. So that happened. Then what happened? Which parent did you live with?
I lived with my mom first, and that's wild too. So like my dad kept trying to take me from my mom, and it just kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But we don't remember that really. It's like bits and pieces we might remember. But then kind of like sorry, he's talking to the other guys. Sorry guys, we're live right now, but it's all good. But so yeah, back and forth, and there was a lot of trauma going back and forth, and then I ended up going back to my dad's because my mom couldn't handle me because I was just wild because of everything that happened, I guess.
Well, and not having that secure, stable environment and predictability. Kids need predictability. So are you kind of more controlling with things and avoidant and attachment style, or what would you think?
What do you mean,
from it?
like control? Like
You know what she mean? I understood it. You know what she meant?
no, explain it again. Explain it again.
Well, controlling with your environment. And
Oh
your
yeah, yeah,
future,
yeah.
what could or
I'm
couldn't
controlling with
happen.
my environment. Yeah, yeah. I am now. I have my own businesses and things like that, so I kind of have no choice. But I guess I've always been kind of like that, even before then. That's why I was able to start the businesses.
I mean, it's been a positive being resilient in these things, and it serves you. But what happens then, like a high performer like yourself, is you kind of stop having feelings.
Yeah, I have no feelings
Yeah.
at all. My kids, except for my kids.
Well, yeah, and so it's like you don't feel
Damn,
things
that's
as
kind of weird.
in as much depth as you possibly could. You don't sleep as well as you possibly could.
Yeah, nah.
So these things have served you, but by going back through and working on those things, like and reprocessing them, I mean, these are
But reprocessing them, I almost think like going back and thinking about it, it kind of messes you up. So you just want to just
It heals you.
it will re-traumatize you if we don't have you listening to the sounds in the altered state. Because
What does that
only-
mean?
Because we'll re-traumatize our brainstem over and over trying to make sense of things if we are not in the limbic brain. We must be in the altered state limbic brain in order for us to make these subconscious programming changes as opposed to just re-traumatizing ourselves. So basic talk therapy with the just talking back and forth like the same thing every single week, it just re-traumatizes you and strengthens those neural networks. You have to drop someone in the altered state. That's why all these techniques like psilocybin and ayahuasca and LSD, ketamine, that's why these things are effective right now. That's why so many veterans, I mean, there's a couple of states that have, I was looking at it last night actually, have actually legalized psilocybin and for PTSD and so on because it's so effective because we have to be in the altered state. But when you're in the altered state also, you find memories that you'd forgot that you had.
Yeah, and I think that would happen because I have like bits and pieces when they talk to me that will kind of, I'm like, oh damn, I kind of remember that. But they're like, how do you not remember that? I'm like, I think me and Mike, my brother, went through so much trauma that we just cut it off.
It's called disassociation.
And we've always kind of like wondered, why don't we remember this stuff? Like, how is it not even in our memory? Like, and it's just gone. We might have like a vision of something when somebody mentions it. I'm like, oh damn, I kind of got a vision of that. But it's both of us together. That's the weirdest part, though.
So it's like when we make memory, it's like we take in so much information every second of every day. It's like an encyclopedia. And so we're storing it based off past experiences. So in the negative aspect of that is a cortisol memory. So that memory network will get reactivated. So every single time mom and dad argued or whatever, it went all the way back in the entire trauma network of mom and dad arguing. To the very first time that the baby endured that energetically without the conscious awareness. So that's the whole thing around it. That then when we put you in the altered state and we have you start with those same kinds of cortisol-driven memories, you will start to access these memories that you hadn't created a really solidified memory around. They'll start to consolidate to know them.
Wow. That's crazy to think about. Because like I would have never like what I try to do is I try to control everything in like what I do in my mind. Like I wanted to control so many different things of how I think and what I'm doing and build. You know, that's kind of how my brain processes things. I want to be better all the time.
But manifestation comes from a feeling, like a feeling of love, a feeling of gratitude, a feeling like the positive, just being this free, feeling amazing in flow state all the time. Nothing can go wrong. So that's actually, but as high performers, you think it's being more diligent, more strict, more control, knowing the predictability of things, having.
That's how I am.
But that's like, that blocks abundance because there's no feeling in that.
No, I don't.
She's telling you it. She's
I have
telling you
no-
you're
You can
doing
be
it wrong.
successful from working hard. But if you are not actually
I think it's better not
of-
to feel, though. I think it's just better just to do things and just not think about what's going on around you in a
Yeah.
sense.
Like AI.
Like, I don't know. That's
not...
besides when I
like
go
a
home,
robot.
when I have my kids, I have 50% of the time. When I have them, I walk in, I leave everything alone. But when I don't have them, I'm a robot. I feel like I'm just robotic in everything I do.
What does that tell you about him?
What does that mean, though? Like, the only reason I'm doing this is because this is like
high
cool for the
performer.
audience right now, and I think this would be cool to know. And I kind of want to know how to like control my brain. So,
This is like I do a 30-minute call to like chat with someone to see.
but she's
if I get into
legit though.
this.
I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think you were legit. The way when you were talking, I was like zoned in. I'm like, okay, she knows what she's doing.
Well, it cracks me up because it's always the same story, but it was my story, Oh, I don't cry. Crying is weakness leaving the body.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I read all these like mental, and they're like, it's.
Well, to me, it's a
bad,
waste
all
of
those-
time to cry. I feel like it's a waste of time. What's the point? What is it
It's
going to solve?
It's amazing biochemically and atom-wise. So, like, we release negative ions when we cry. Our entire physiology shifts. Our whole brain, like, resets. It's amazing.
Is that why you're tired after you cry? Most kids
Yes,
like fall
it's
asleep.
amazing.
So your
cry.
brain
it's
resets
like it
after you
shifts-
cry?
Yeah, oxytocin. It's like energetically with water, it, like, cleanses us. Like, oh, yeah, it's awesome.
That's crazy. I would have never thought that.
Crying's amazing.
Damn. I couldn't even like picture me doing that stuff.
It took me a while to get there with this technique. That's why I had to go back through and do all this work. And that's the thing. You never want to work with someone who hasn't done a ton of work on themselves because you'll never get past where a healer's gone. And so when you look at this like energetically, there's no way that you can necessarily work with someone who's not healed all of their subconscious energetic programming because energy begets energy. So my nervous system is going to sync with everyone's around me and vice
Energy.
versa. Yeah, energy begets energy. We can't stop it.
So
That's why.
it's almost like going to a psychiatrist and you don't believe in it. It's not going to work. 'Cause
Oh
you don't
yeah.
believe-
Well, and that's placebo nocebo effect. It's like that's a whole
So you
nother
can't even
level.
do it. Yeah.
Like we need to at least be bought into something 10%, or else it won't work. Because we have to believe it has to be a part of us. It's an energy exchange.
But see, the way you're explaining it is different. Like if you go to some people and they're a psychologist or something, and they just like sound like dumb, I'm just like, what is this guy talking about?
But they only
You know what
sound
I mean?
dumb because you don't believe in it.
No,
what
no,
I'm
that's
trying
not
to say.
why. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. And if I go in and I had to do it for a marriage at one point, right? And I was like, okay, let's just do it then. But I was just like, what? This dude talking about? But we did go to one. It was really good, but she didn't like it because she looked bad. So at the end of that, whatever, right? But I don't. I'm not gonna like just push. Just give me a second. So I'm just not gonna. What I'm trying to do is I want to better my mind. So I try to do that in everything I do. So I'm always going to be like, okay, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'll take it in and try to figure out what I can do to better myself. Because if I know I'm just going to stay in the same place, what's the point?
They're trying to tell you what
You
to
know?
do. And
I know. I'm listening though. That's what I'm saying. I'm just explaining.
So now, do you think that you should cry?
Man,
That was him. The whole crying is
cry.
weak.
Who cries?
So
Like,
would it be able to work?
I'm not
on
even
him if
saying
you
it's
don't believe in
weak.
it?
I'm not even. I never said it
I
was
can
weak.
make him cry in the altered state.
No,
easily.
I'm not saying. I never said it was weak. I said there's no point to it. I said there's no point. It's pointless.
just
That's what I
told you
always
it was a
thought.
point.
There is the point. It's an energetic
So do you
point.
believe it?
So and the other thing is with energy distribution, our chakras or our neuroenergy centers are in charge of all of our emotions, the balance of them, right? And so when you start to hold grief, resentment, anger, unforgiveness, whatever that looks like, it imbalances you energetically, and then that imbalances your organ systems.
Damn, it does everything to your body then.
Yeah, and of course that's our Vedic and Eastern medicine philosophy integrated in there, which I totally believe in because I love acupuncture and all these other things that can actually stimulate and increase energy to those organ systems. But the other way you can do it is by releasing unprocessed emotions. Going back through these memories and saying, hey, well, how did that 8-year-old feel? What belief system did that 8-year-old make? And you'll sit there and be like, wow, that I was never good enough. And you'll be like, whoa, when was the next time you didn't feel good enough? Oh, man, now I just remember I failed a math test and my teacher told me I would never be good at math. You're like, wow, how'd that make you feel? Not good. It made me sad. And so you just are going from there, and the subconscious programming's just shifting as it's linking to all the traumatic memories. I do about 12 sessions with a person, and it's typically can shift and clear out everything.
It's a trip. I just think she's really good though at what she does. I could just see it. I read people well before business. I have no choice. I can tell bullshitter from a non bullshitter. I can tell someone when I'm interested in doing, and if they're interested in doing business with me, we keep going back and forth, and where I can slide in, on that aspect. And so hearing you speak at the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, she's real. She's legit. So,
Can't bullshit her?
No, there's no bullshitting this girl.
No.
But keep it rolling. I feel like this is good for what we're doing right now, even for the audience and for what your business.
So how does it work? So we've heard about you said the red light part or something like that?
The near-infrared and red light, so you want to put that on the brain if you're worried about cognitive stuff, but it does all sorts of other things for you too. It actually restores fertility as well, and that's a really huge issue right now. So there was a study that came out of Japan, and of the participants, there were nearly 300 participants. They had been proven to be infertile, males and females. And so they applied the near-infrared to the females' eggs and their ovaries for a month every day. And then the males, they did red light on the penis and the testes one time. And it actually restored nearly half of the participants'
It's an actual light?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What the
Red light
heck?
and near-infrared. So it's really cool stuff. So it does that kind of stuff. It also...
That's a trip, dude.
Yeah, well, it increases your gains when you work out. So you always want to put it down your spine within an hour to 2 hours.
And what is this, a red light?
They're like pads. And you can put, they have the ones on the wall, but they're just not as good because if you can have it, the little LED lights get next to the skin, it'll amplify on the biophotons, which are our meridian channels, as well as the water within our, the synovial fluid or water within us and our blood and everything. So it actually travels and expands.
You tell your boyfriend you're using these red lights, huh?
He actually said no. He's like, no,
He walks
You're like, put this shit on.
He walks in the house. He thinks he's in Amsterdam.
It's like a whole red light.
Well, here.
He was just like, no, you're not allowed to do that. The doctor always said.
I am the doctor. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
He'll put it on his brain, though.
When he's sleeping, you just put the red lights on automatic.
So how does it work when it comes to the holistic stuff? I'm not do you actually carry drugs, or is it medically prescribed drugs that you?
No,
or how does the holistic part go?
I don't do any drugs. I will recommend some supplements if we look at your genetics and see what your methylation pathways are. And I peptides are cool right now because everyone's talking about, these weight loss drugs, the shots, like berberine and turmeric. Those are some good peptides. But no, I don't do any drugs.
So what's something? What do you feel about?
No drugs, Rico.
No, because she was talking about.
He always goes with the drugs. I don't know what's going on here.
You're talking about because she was talking about LSD and ketamine.
Not the LSD you're thinking of.
Participating in ceremony circles, absolutely, and I'm about that kind of stuff. I don't haven't drank since I was 22 or any of that kind of stuff, but absolutely, those are interesting ways to find different layers and more layers, and then going back and doing more altered work with the sounds, you can actually integrate the two in together, and it's great. So I'm not opposed to that. I think many people don't even, it's kind of scary as to where to start. So if you go and do a psychedelic, it will just open things. So it's not like you have to do as much work as to where to start. But you can get to the same space by using the sounds to drop into the altered state compared to the psychedelics. Yeah.
The drugs.
He's like,
Up your doses. Up your doses.
Well, I mean, there's psilocybin's kind of interesting. I mean, it's been showing a lot of things, but a lot of mushrooms are really healthy for us. So that's not just the only one.
oh, here we go. Let's into the good stuff.
The rabbit hole. Not the rabbit hole.
So have you done that before?
Yeah.
And do you feel like it actually opens up the part of the brain that people talk about?
A couple things were revealed to me, but I'd done a lot of personal work with the altered state and even breath work altered state, because breath work also shifts you a little bit into alpha brainwave as well. So it kind of makes you altered too. But some things were revealed to me that I hadn't realized. Like I moved to Seattle and left my family in Colorado, like my brother and sister and his kids.
I was like, damn.
Or brother and his wife.
Just got on the road and left
like
everybody.
Me. not like
Got high and left.
My extended family left in Colorado, so I went out there by myself, and so I did the psychedelic session. And it was really weird because I had all this grief that I never realized I had, and grief that I wouldn't see my brother's kids, really grow up because I left, and I had been so close to them in the mountains in Colorado. So that was really interesting to me. But after I did a couple more sessions, not much more was revealed to me. So I was like, okay, well, I think that I've used that medicine.
You were just high at that point.
Yeah, well, and there was like not a lot was coming up. There was no emotion because you really do want to try to fully feel emotion because it amplifies some feelings and so on. But yeah, I mean, I like all the plant stuff. I am...
The way she said it, though.
She was excited. She lights up.
You're like, I love that
it.
stuff.
Well, I mean, it's stuff that you don't have control over, Mr. Control, right? So it's like you have no idea what's going to come up and what you're going to work on and what profound
Blue pill or
thing
yellow or
The,
red
gonna
pill?
happen.
the thing is I like control, but then I'm out of control. Does that make sense? So like I'm not really in control. Like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I don't really want control. Like so, it's not like I'm like controlling or anything. I want my businesses controlled, and when I leave that whole thing, I want to just be as like dumb as possible.
Right.
I don't want to be thinking of anything besides just what I'm doing.
Just in the moment.
Yes, I want to be in the moment because I have to like. I'm not actually this person. I feel like that has a business and that it has to be structured and all that stuff. That's not really me. I'm doing it for making money and building and building legacy. But I want to just not do any of that shit. I want to run away from all this shit. That's really what I would like to do. You know what I mean? I would love to do that shit. Like just leave. Like I was in Mykonos, Greece, and I was like, man, I'll just leave it all and just stay here. Like just let it all go.
How did that make you feel, Jacob?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just wanted to be there just as long as I could.
That's
I don't know.
that's interesting though that would be that you say that you so you don't love what you do?
No.
Why?
I don't feel like there's a reason to like love it. Like I really like this. I actually do love this part, but I even have another business that I really would love to do, that I really want to do. But this I do love actually. My other business, my main source of income, that business, no. I love the business side of it. I mean, I find things that I love out of things.
Okay.
So I'll find it, like just so I can enjoy it, to trick my brain to like it, to keep going. But that's really it, Like I don't sit there and be like, oh, I love this. Like my brother loves that, his business, like loves everything about it, loves the work part and everything. I'm like, no, I love the business side and like learning how to deal with people and build up. Not even. It's not really the money though. It's more like the building of something, like building something up,
That's yours.
making something great. And the money's going to come. I feel like, it's not like, of course we need money to sustain life and to build and all that. But I want to watch something build huge, like just something where it's always going to be remembered. But I want to love it at the same time, but I'm not going to love everything about it.
Right.
There's no way you're going to love everything about it. It's just, I'd rather be like on a beach somewhere, surfing.
That's everybody.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting though.
Tell them.
Well, what is that thinking? What are you thinking about on that?
Well, what's the other business that you would rather do?
I'm into like nerd shit.
Comics.
Yeah,
He's a comic
I
nerd.
have like one being done right now, and like all the art being done, and I love that shit. Like when I'm not, that's my release. So when people like are stressed out, like I'll go home and I'll just work on that. So that's my. I mean, I know what it is because my son does the same thing. So like you want to leave reality and just enter like something that's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. Nerd shit.
That was something I had to try out in Seattle, the Comic Cons.
Oh really?
Like a thing there. It was interesting.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's kind of what
Artists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like that.
I feel like you're analyzing right now. I want to know.
is.
I want to know what you're
I
thinking.
want to.
I analyze. Well, you can't not analyze people, right?
That's
Once
what
you
I do
start
too, though.
analyzing people.
So what are you thinking about all that?
I'm curious. So you're divorced.
Yeah.
You came from divorced parents. What were patterns that were repeated?
Actually, I didn't repeat the same patterns my parents did.
Oh.
And mine were completely different.
So did you react or reenact? React meaning doing polar opposite. Reenact, you do the same thing.
Oh man, so I guess it is kind of weird. So if you think about it, so like my dad has always been like in love with my mom, no matter what, right? And she cheated on him, she left him, and he's still in love with her. And I started realizing this as I got older that I was thinking, no one's gonna do that to me. Like I'm not gonna allow that. So I just never cared. Like, and I think I didn't realize that till later.
Avoid attachment.
And I was like, I'm not going to be attached. Like,
Right.
hell no, I'm not going to be attached. Even if I thought I was, I knew I really wasn't. I was trying to kind of force myself to be attached.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, but see, my dad was like a one woman man, never cheated, none of that kind of stuff. But then me, I was the opposite of that. So I was just doing my thing. Really, I wasn't being a good husband. You know what I mean on that end. But then now I think a little different about how things are because the grass is not greener.
So isn't that reenacting then?
But no, because my dad didn't do any of that.
No, but your mom.
But
did,
your
though.
mom.
Oh,
so you
shit.
took
Your mom
a
did,
maternal pattern.
Your mom did. So you
Fuck. How the fuck did that happen?
So reacted to dad's, reenacted mom.
Access granted.
Damn.
There needed to be a balance.
So I guess I did reenact. I'm like my fucking mom. Great mom, thanks. Look what you did to me. She watches all these too, so this is what you did to me, mom.
No,
It's your fault.
We know how Thanksgiving dinner's gonna go.
Well, you could still heal and
Still got time.
I thought I was healed already.
Still got hope.
You know?
you can still heal so that you would walk into a relationship in a very different way.
Well, that's what I want to do. I don't want to be just like this guy, you know. I just,
You work for me at
I
this
don't want to
point.
just be out there doing. I don't feel like that there's any like realness in that. I feel like whatever you do now, you got to put 100% into it, or you just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at things now.
Love can be amazing, though. The depth of love.
I think it can be. I think if, but the thing is, then you kind of put yourself out there, and anything can
That's
happen.
life, though.
You know?
That's life. That's
So
with
that's
anything.
fear and control.
I wish-
Controlling the outcome.
Damn, that's control. Just because you don't want to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
It makes sense, I guess.
You control your feelings. Control what happens to you.
Well, yeah, if you don't, you'll never get hurt, right? You control the outcome. Fear.
But what if you just don't care and you pretend like you care, and then you can't really get hurt?
Where's it gonna get you?
I'm just saying.
But isn't that, doesn't that hurt your heart?
I don't feel like I have a heart anymore. I feel like it's literally stone cold. When it comes to my kids, yes, I got a heart.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like
it's very
everything
different.
else is just, I feel like I'm literally stone cold. It's like a whole other level of stone cold.
When was the last time you felt butterflies?
Fuck. Well, no, I had a girl. Damn, if I gotta get into this shit.
After eating certain food, you had a stomachache.
Well, I had a girl for a while
shit.
for like, and yeah, that was a girl that I let all that go to. But she was married, so it didn't work out.
And who was that?
I gotta say her name.
No, not the girl. That's the reenactment. That's the
Yeah,
reenactment.
that's
That's your
mom's
mom.
Fucking shit, mom. See, this is all your fault. You destroyed my life, mom. Thanks. She watches all
I like
these
this.
too.
I like this. How much is the session? I'll pay you. I'll pay for the session. I'll pay for a session right now.
I would have never done this either. This is for you guys, the podcast. No,
Right.
that's not gonna happen.
She says everybody's.
That'll never happen.
Has there been one person who said it and it hasn't happened?
About like
The
crying?
crying, yeah.
No, I'm not gonna cry. It's not happening.
I've gotten everyone.
It's not gonna happen.
She's
man.
10.
But I'm a wolf. You know, it's different.
20
You
for
know,
20 right
No.
She's 20 and 0.
No, I've gotten everyone.
that's wild though.
She's 20 and 0.
Toughest of the toughest athletes.
20 and 0, Jacob.
Nah, I'm too swift on my toes.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like the butterflies in your stomach, the heart racing, all those amazing feelings of love.
I think most of the things that we do, when it's done out of love, it's a better and different reaction than versus just doing it just because. You know what I mean? I think the outcome is way better when you're doing it out of love.
We're going to close this one. We're going to bring you back for the next one. But we have another episode coming up right now. He's here, so we'll be right back with
5
you,
minutes.
Howlers.
5 minutes.
Give us like 5 minutes. We'll be right back. We're going to bring you back on.
Okay.
The first couple times we did it, we're like, so we're going live.
That's major.
We had some like pretty big people looking at some of our stuff too, huh? We had John Legend.
John Legend.
Oh, wow.
We had Adam 22,
A
like
couple
the
of
Fresh and
podcasts.
Fit guys, like some like other big podcasts, you know. So it was kind of crazy. We're like, what the heck? Why are these people looking at our stuff? But it was
Because
cool,
you gotta
you
know
know.
your enemy. Difference in fighting.
Yeah. Ready?
Know the enemy.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, there it goes.
Right, Rico?
Yes, sir.
I'm a big fan of Rico.
I'm your fan.
All right, we're ready.
Does Daddy want these or no?
Do you want your earphones?
No.
Yeah, just unplug it.
I don't have
No,
to
just
wear
leave it.
Just
leave
get
it.
just
It's
get it
cool,
out the
just
way.
leave it.
Yeah, I'll plug it. I'll plug it. Stop it.
Sorry, I'm shutting all this down.
It's on my rib.
Yeah.
Can you do a quick audio check on everybody?
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check 1 2. Hello 1
I
2.
heard you.
One more.
Hello?
We're good.
Mic check. Excuse me.
And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. Are we Howls over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
I'm Eddie Millis.
And we have a very special guest. This is going to be a music episode. So I'm going to have him introduce himself. Miguel, introduce himself to our audience. Tell them who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Of course. Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Rincon. I'm actually a native here from the Inland Empire. Here with me, I have a few instruments as part of the work that I do. I help facilitate spaces of metaphysical and energetic as well as physical healing with sound healing and sacred medicine.
Okay. How long you been doing that?
I've been practicing for about 10 years and facilitating the spaces professionally for about 6 years after being initiated through various indigenous tribes ranging from Peru, Colombia, and Mexico.
Okay. And then we brought Dr. Paige Roberts back on this episode. For you guys that watched the last episode, she was on that one. And we're just going to bring her in the mix. See how this all flows, you know what I mean, today. So
Get you to cry.
I got a question right away.
go ahead.
Do you use any medicinal medicines, peyote, any of that in your?
Yes, so my biological family facilitates spaces for medicines known as cambo, bufo, and huachuma, or San Pedro cactus. I help my brother-in-law, who is a shaman for peyote from the Huirarica tribe from
you have
Nayarit,
any?
Mexico. I don't have
I'm
any
just
with me, but in another time we can definitely talk about that.
Buka, am I saying
Bu-
it? It's from the toad?
Bufo, yeah,
It's
yeah.
poison toad, right?
Yes, the
And,
resin that comes from it, yeah.
And what is the, it has a farmer, what's the other name for that? Yeah, so people do that, right?
Many
what do they
people do
call
that,
it when
yes.
they do it?
So what does that do to you?
It's another name, the poison from the toad.
Toad medicine, bufo. It really gomkak is the indigenous name from the Seti tribe.
And that's like 6 to 8 hours, you're like,
No, not at all, not at all. So when you inhale the vapors of this medicine, it puts you into a state of essentially reset. That's the basic way I can explain it. Each and every one of us live a very different life. Each and every one of us have had different traumas, different programming, and so it helps unravel and unwire depending on where you're at in this time frame of your
I
life.
heard good things about this. Is that
It
the
definitely changed my life.
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca is a different medicine. It does contain DMT, but a different molecule. And it's a different spirit as well, if you want to talk about energy and spirit. Completely different spirit. And it's a different ritual, different prayers, different traditions.
How do you handle somebody if they take this medicine and they freak out and they start like just going crazy? You hold them down?
No, so essentially we do a screening. We talk to each and every person for a very long time to see if this is the right healing modality for them. If we can't help them, we can definitely find something else that helps them, such as breath work, such as psychological practices and different modalities. So when that happens, say like, we're in a ceremony and there's a trauma releasing and, maybe somebody becomes very loud or very unjust within their actions, they're unconscious. The best thing to do in that point is to really guide the situation, help them center themselves, help them reconnect with their heart, help them reconnect with their consciousness, and have a lot of patience and nothing but love for that person, because that person is in a very vulnerable space, and the rest of their life can definitely can be derailed if that situation isn't handled with lots of care and love. So the intention with these medicines is for people to become better and not to become mentally harmed or physically harmed throughout the practice in that way.
I've never done anything like that. What do you think about
Well, the
things?
military does it. Like a lot
really?
of the ex-military special forces, they do all of it, and it resets them, and then
Damn.
they're on the verge of suicide or wanting to kill themselves, and they do this, and I know a lot of people that want to do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this now. I think Rico, we should do it live. He should do something in the studio.
Nope. I'm not trying to see
Rico's
nothing
afraid of
moving.
everything.
Well, why don't you just reset yourself, and we will tape it. What do you think?
How long would you be like that
There's
for?
different ones.
First of all, I wouldn't be recording anything because it's a very personal thing. It can be a lot of trauma that comes out, a lot of tears, a lot of
shoot.
anguish that comes out,
Oh, but he don't cry, though.
generational traumas that come out. Like things that you thought you were over can come up and.
But do
and
you
become
really
revealed.
believe that taking that does that, or you think you're just tripping?
No, what happens? You can do it by yourself with just breath work, with just meditation.
No,
with,
but I'm
you
saying,
know?
do you think that those drugs that you're taking, or whatever you would call them, I guess,
Medicines.
do you think that that's what it really does? Do you think that that's what it really does, or you think you're just tripping and having a good high?
Well, what has happened for me in my personal life, I can only speak about my personal life. Yes, my family has worked with over 1,000 people doing this type of work. But for me personally, it has helped me become a better person, where I would be able to realize where I'm wronging myself, where I'm lying to myself, where I am actually deceiving myself in certain ways, and not activating my own fullest potential through the blockages, through trauma, or through confusion or programming. Now, to say if it's a trip or not is kind of a blurry line due to the fact that there is lots of real messages that come through about your ancestors, about lost loved ones, about your future, and to say the very least, these medicines aren't necessarily the way that they're painted in media. It's very different for each and every person, and it's very, very, very sincere to really keep that space in true integrity.
What do you think, Eddie?
Well, I mean, I met him outside when he pulled up. He's a very nice guy, right? And I can see
Thank you.
like he's got really good energy. So everyone that I've ever met that's in this field, is calm, cool, and collective.
Yeah, you seem super calm.
Thank you. I try my
high right
best.
now.
I try.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
High on life.
I think you asked me what I think. I think humans spend too much time worrying about what's wrong and trying to fix this, and that. I mean, I said it before. Life is like surfing in front of a tidal wave, and if you stay in front of it, you stay in front of the wave, it won't crash on you. Sure, you got to fix stuff, but this focusing on traumas, I'm not the biggest fan of it, because that's the chapter 1 or 2. You got to move on. I meet people and they're like, oh, I had all this trauma. Well, we all fucking had traumas. But if you dwell on it and you give it that energy and you're like, oh, this happened to me, 1,000 things happen to you. You give it that energy over and over and over, you can't move on. You can't move past it. So I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence
There you go.
where I think the medicinal, it helps people, but I'm also I'm a big I think that you shouldn't give all of your traumas or the past, what happened, too much credit and energy.
So you think medicine over conversation?
I'm saying at some point you got to stop giving it, you're making it relevant. You got to move on.
I think people only make it relevant when it's not healed, or when it's not because people want to put a Band-Aid over a hole in the boat. In the shit,
Yeah,
you know what I
but
mean?
you're never
You can't.
healed.
I mean, you can.
You're
Yeah,
never
you can.
fully healed.
I want to know what Dr. Page has to say about this, because I see her like thinking right now.
Well, I mean,
So what do you think? First, I'm going to ask, what do you think about the medicine? Do you think that it works, or what do you think about it?
I think it absolutely works. I think that it's a different way of accessing the traumas, and the energy of the medicine itself shifts your biochemistry also in that moment, and your frequency and where you're going with that in the session.
And see, I think a lot like Eddie was saying right now. So what do you think about what Eddie was saying?
So I think that, I think that people make it relevant when it isn't healed, and they use it as excuse, and they use it to be in this
Yes.
kind of victim state. And I think that I know clients, when they walk in the door, I know if they've been therapized. If they've been in therapy for 20 years of their life, and they're telling me all the theories and this, and these connections, I'm going, yeah, okay, so we have to reprocess the traumas to shift your physiology and shift your homeostasis and shift your perception of the current world reality in that moment, because you keep storing things. Like I told you, take in as much information as an encyclopedia every second of every day. So you start continue to store these things in this negative light, and poor me, and bad things always happen, and all this stuff, until you clear all this trauma reservoir. And generationally and just energetically, I mean, our body extends, or our energetic field or quantified field extends so far out, but it all needs to be integrated back in, and optimize that frequency, those hertz of our self, because that's the optimal
And
health.
you agree a lot with this, Miguel?
I definitely agree, especially with the integration part, because it doesn't matter how many sessions you go to, whatever healing modality you're trying, it's all about implementing the information that you receive from opening up, whether it is through conversation, whether it is through a cup of ayahuasca, whether it is through some kind of other healing session, Reiki, meditation, yoga, whatever. If you're not actively integrating that wisdom and actively trying to overcome those obstacles, you're just going to stay in the same place. You're going to be attracting the same situations, different situations, different faces, you know what I mean? And it'll just be
So like we were saying
a
earlier,
pattern. Yeah.
I did want to say something though. So there is one thing. So because I like to dive into everything on this podcast, and we have people listening and all that. Because what do you think about diving into things biblically though?
Okay.
As first you, like, what would you think about all that stuff that you're talking about? But what do you think about
So basically
diving
praying.
into something biblically,
Praying.
reading, praying, things like that?
Well, for instance, the medicine ceremony is a form of prayer from those traditions.
Right.
And biblical faith is very important, especially in this wavelength of consciousness. Christ consciousness is a real thing here and now. And definitely, if you have faith, you can move mountains. It doesn't matter how you have faith. It does matter your integrity when it comes to your faith and how you're acting upon it. And so it doesn't matter if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, if this and that. If you have faith, you have a good heart, and you're actively trying to make the world a better place through making yourself better, then more power to you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Eddie?
I mean, I'm like I said, I would do the medicinal thing, but I also think iron sharpens iron. Your traumas make you tougher. They make you harder. They make you. It's like you become a diamond. And if you keep, I don't know. I'm not saying all traumas, but the whole "woe is me, woe is we." Well, my dog died in my arms. That's not traumatic. Fuck yeah, it is. That was my baby. But I understand what happened, and I just got to keep pushing forward. You got to move forward and be the best version of yourself every day. That's why I said on the podcast before, if you're going to be Batman physically, you have to be Batman mentally. So we're talking about mental health, but then half the people practicing their mental health don't take care of their physicality. So I think you have to have a balance.
What do you think about what he just said right now? Because I saw you watching.
I just don't
And you're
think
analyzing. You should tell exactly how you think.
stored emotions.
See, because he thinks like me. That's
Unprocessed
why.
grief. I mean, it's literally just like, I call it a tune-up. If something happens in your life after you've cleared the past stuff and reset your nervous system, oh, my dog died. Okay, come in, tell me the story. Let's release it completely from your energetic field, which is the supramental energy plane, which is the subconscious programming. That's where we start to get the dis-eases in our lives because of these unprocessed emotions. So yes, it makes you stronger. I've had a shit ton of trauma happen to me that's made me stronger, but it also made me not open to love. It made me controlling. It made me fearful. It made me unhappy. It made me too hypervigilant. But then once I cleared all that, what remained was the success and the things that I've worked hard for, but not that rigidness.
Well, that's awareness, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So, I like I said, I'm 50-50. I agree that if you're aware of these things, and you're aware that you went through trauma, but you're not very loving, or you're not doing this, you're not that, you have to be aware. And that's what it really comes down to. You have to be aware of who you are at all times. And
Yeah, I think the same way. And I feel like I've been thinking about that the last few years, and be very aware of who you are. And so, I mean, I agree with that a lot.
I love the little hand grabs and stuff. She gets very uneasy.
It means bullshit.
Because you think I'm not aware. Huh?
Oh,
Because-
I'm looking at her body language.
Because everything you said earlier and then what you're saying now is two different
I was
things.
watching
How,
the body
though? I'm
language
aware
at
of
the
who I
beginning-
am.
But what you
during
said-
the podcast.
But yes, there's awareness, but it's like your behaviors just change because you no longer react subconsciously. And I'm sure that you understand that. So it's like when you show up in a loving, intimate relationship, you don't try to reject them before they reject you and play these mind games of like, making them jealous and this and this and this. All these things that we do to keep ourselves safe and to maintain our, we want them chasing us. We can't show them that we love them too much or else they're going to reject us.
But I'm not
all
doing that. I just chill.
But
I'm
that'll
just chilling.
stop.
And I'm just
That
having a good
stops when you
time.
clear the traumas, right? Like the heart, especially the heart. It's
But I'm not doing
I
that.
agree with that.
But I'm not
games
doing
stop
that.
Right.
when you're
But see,
healed.
I'll be
Healed
honest.
wounds.
I'll be
Jacob,
completely honest with you. No. I'll be completely honest. I don't play games with them. I'm just having a good time, just chilling.
So that's what she's
You know
saying.
what I mean? Like, I'm
that's-
just chilling.
That's
I'm
what
just-
she's saying. You're not putting you into it because you don't want to.
I'm into it, but I'm into all.
No, see,
you know.
so what she
But
said.
no.
Right.
There's a saying, right? You're gonna love this because you'll agree. When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Definitely.
There
He's
you
not
go.
ready.
Definitely.
There you go.
Definitely.
He's
So that's
not
what
ready.
she's saying.
We're like, yeah.
You do you. You do you. Now he agrees with what I'm saying, but that doesn't mean we have the same. We're the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think somebody else should be ready too.
So you got a lot of instruments on here, and I wanted to kind of get to that. So do you want to just show the audience what you got going on, and what you want to just go through them?
Okay, of course, yeah. So these two flutes are flutes made in the North American native tradition, or Lakota. This is a drone flute. It has two holes right here. As you can see, it looks like a shotgun. And so this is recorded in the key of F, and in, I forget which tradition, when it comes to chakras, it pertains to the heart. So when I play this, I play for the heart, right?
It's a key of F. You
The
said.
key of F.
Wow.
This one, of course, this one's in the key of B. And if I'm not mistaken, the key of B pertains to the crown, so your universal connection, the corona, the crown, as in a Christianity where they have halos, crowns, in that way. Here is a travel didgeridoo that was a gift from a dear friend of mine who worked at a hospital that we worked with, resolving a lot of trauma that she picked up in the ICU, and she gifted me this this didgeridoo many years ago for my birthday. This was a very special gift from a past lover of mine. This is an ayahuasca rattle, actually made of ayahuasca, from the hands of the indigenous tribe in Peru. This is a harmonica, also in the key of F. Utilized in different ceremonies, especially yaje ceremonies, which is Colombian ayahuasca. And this is a special ocarina named Huaca. It's Peruvian and it has different tones and it has a very, very unique sound to it. And so this is a very small piece of the collection that my family owns. Within my 2 biological sisters, we have over 100 instruments or so that we utilize in a ceremony with or without medicine. Just with meditation, incense, you can do a lot just going within and giving yourself the time and space to feel what's inside. And the sounds help almost cymatically open up your cells and your brain waves and your nervous system to really allow the energy to flow.
Can you play the heart one so we could break down some of these?
I got a question too.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
can you modify the sound to sharps and flats when you play?
Definitely.
And is that by breath control or your fingers?
Definitely. So breath control and fingers. There, as you can see here, there's 6 holes, but there's actually many different notes. I forget if it's 13 or 16 notes that you can play here. So this is the scale of F. So when I cover all of these holes right here, I'll show the camera. It'll be the key of F. And so this is what it sounds like right here. And so when we go up the scale, so that scale is the scale of F in that way. And I was just blowing into one hole. So now I'm going to blow into 2 holes to activate both of these. And so the ongoing F key is going to go happening while I go up the scale. And this is what it sounds like.
That's
It's
so
freaking
dope.
amazing.
I know. I love
The
that.
fact that they have the continuing key
Yeah.
of F going
Like you
through.
felt that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was
That's why it's for the heart. That,
Yeah.
that
I
one,
think we
you
need
feel
to.
that. I felt that.
I know
I
we
felt
don't
that.
drink on the podcast and do anything anymore, but damn.
I know. You want to
That's
get
what
drunk?
it
right
been.
now? I want to do some peyote or something.
Yeah, we can definitely
That's
do
a
that.
nice sound.
Yeah, I'm like 35
you.
Native American.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So like that was
Okay.
dope, dude. I
Yeah.
like that.
Your ancestry remembers that, you know? Your DNA remembers that, brother, you know?
Is that what it? Because she was saying the same thing, and it was
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
because I wasn't sure if that was even
chills?
true.
Did you get the chills?
You know what I mean? I was like, wasn't even sure. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like fucking like start hammering shit.
I'm grateful that the sound just did that for you, brother.
That was dope.
You're
Much
really,
love,
really
much
nice.
love, much
What's
love.
that called one more time?
This is called a native flute, but this type of flute is called drone because it has that droning sound. And so it comes in all different keys. And so when it has 2 holes like this, sometimes it has 3 holes, it's drone flute. Drone flute.
what would you want to play next for us? I feel like I want to go through these now.
Yeah,
You want the heart, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the heart. That was
This
the
is
heart.
the heart
That's
one, yeah.
the next
Oh,
one's
no,
the,
what's the one that looks
crown.
like
It's
a
the
heart.
crown,
The
yes.
crown. Yeah, let's try the crown.
Silk technique work, Orly.
Let's get in- let's get in- let's get in our heads,
My,
you know?
my harmono, or whatever.
Harmonica.
Harmono.
Harmonium? I'm not sure.
Oh,
Okay.
that's what somebody is saying on the
Yeah,
chat.
Orly.
I don't know. Can't
Alrighty.
see it.
Harmony.
Yeah, we have people in the chat. That's why.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Hi,
talking.
everyone. Much love.
Hermano.
Yeah.
You said Hermano.
Hermano.
Hermano,
Like-
hermano, like
brother,
brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Orly.
hermano.
Oh, okay, Orly. Yeah. What's
Oh.
up, Orly? Much love to you, man. Good job on working on everything that you're doing. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
brother.
Orly was on the show before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, his
yeah,
dad's gonna
Great
come
man.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. I met
Is
him
it the
once.
Orly Orly
I'd
I
like to
know?
meet him once.
Orlando.
He does
from
raves.
The
Yeah.
festival. Oh yeah, you know him too then.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah, you do know him.
He's a
That's
good
right.
guy,
That's
yeah.
right.
And then chicks wrote in. He just put stars emojis.
All right, let's hear
Okay,
this
Chicks.
one.
I know Chicks. Yeah, much love. He's actually done ceremony with me, Chicks. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
UFO medicine up there in Drew.
I think you need to do this.
We should have brought some and then played
looking for
played music the whole time. Next time we'll just do the same people and we'll just bring that stuff and we'll just,
Lock
you just
the door.
play. Lock the door. We'll just play music.
Let him play real quick. Let him
All
play.
right.
I'll be all.
So this instrument was gifted to me in a ceremony by a dear brother of mine named Oscar Roman. He's an amazing musician, very talented brother. He asked me to dedicate every time I play this instrument to all the mothers of the world. He gifted this to me during the peak hour of a San Pedro cactus medicine ceremony. and I was brought to tears just by the gesture. And so it's in the key of B. As you can see, it's nice and thick, so it's going to sound lower. So this is how it sounds like right here. To all the mothers of the world, thank you so much.
That was
Yes,
dope,
yes,
man.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank
that
you,
was
thank
cool.
you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it going. I want to see
Yeah.
that one that looks like hearts.
Oh,
like,
okay, this one right here.
Yeah, that looks kind of medieval.
Of course. So the story behind this one, I actually bought this at a powwow. I didn't buy it at a powwow. My sister Blanca, my biological sister Blanca, she was working at a hospital at the time. She just got into healing because she was working at the ICU as well, picking up a lot of trauma. We had gone through some things when we were growing up, and so I introduced the family, or reintroduced my family at least, because it had been away from some generations to the visionary medicine. So you're not allowed to eat any medicine at powwows, but we had eaten shrooms. I'm just going to say here, I had eaten shrooms with her, and we were having such an amazing time.
I feel like you got the best shrooms. I don't know why. I feel like he might have the best
Yeah,
shrooms.
did you
Though.
add me on Instagram?
No, but we can definitely talk about that for sure. With much love, yeah. Mother Earth has the best
He's
shrooms
like,
for sure. I'm just the ambassador.
Hey, but that's from Peru, right?
Yeah, the design is from Peru. The maker, his name is Nash. He's from Mexico, but this
Okay.
design is from Peru. It's called Waka. Interesting story. In a kiln, so like in the oven that they use pottery for, they would get potatoes, and that's how they make the shape. They wrap the clay around the potatoes, make the holes, and then put it in the oven. The oven singes the potatoes, and so we're left with this. There's two holes in the back right here. When I let them go, it changes the scale completely. So first I'm going to play without the holes, and this is what it sounds like. And it's also a drone as well. You can see there's two holes.
Crazy.
So I'm going to play the top. Thank you. I'm going to play the top one, and then I'm going to play the bottom one for you guys. And so this is what it sounds like. And so there's
Dude,
that
that's so dope. I
All of them.
feel like if we were on some stuff right now, we'd be tripping. Because you can feel it, like when you
can
play
definitely
it.
feel it, yeah, definitely. And once again, all of these instruments have been blessed by various shamanic teachers of mine in many different ceremonies, many different ways. And so anytime I play these instruments with my heart, with the intention of helping my brothers and sisters here, that energy also radiates. So I can't take all the credit for that. It takes you here to open yourself up in order to receive that energy. So much love and gratitude. You know?
Isn't
Yeah.
the flute is a woodwind? What you
Yes,
call
yes,
it?
woodwind, yeah.
These are like the oldest instruments that date back. Like maybe that's why everybody has a connection to
Yes,
it, because
yes.
strings weren't invented then. That was like the first thing they did was play that.
I like to say everybody's ancestors were playing flutes,
Right.
drumming, and singing. So
Even
everyone
the
has
Japanese,
a
the
connection.
flute, when you hear that, what it does.
Is everything
Definitely.
self-taught, or did you have like a teacher to teach you how to play, or is self-taught?
Yeah, so when I was a young boy, my very first instrument that I remember playing was a guitar. I was just strumming it. I just have very early memories. And then when I was in elementary school, I started playing the clarinet. Unfortunately, when I became a middle schooler, I had a very strong accent, and my main language was Spanish. And so they put me in 2 English classes. I lost my elective, and I disconnected from music, and I became very chaotic. I became very chaotic during middle school. That's also teenager stuff, you know what I mean? Not normal things. But when I came into high school, I reconnected with music. I started producing music on a computer. And it wasn't until the ending time of my college years And after college, when I had started studying ethnomusicology, or the study of music and the cultures and the symbolism behind the instruments in music, that I started reconnecting with these instruments. And so if you know how to play saxophone, flute, or clarinet, any of that, you can easily play these instruments. And each and every one of you can easily play these instruments too. If you have a spirit, if you have wind, if you have that energy, you can easily learn how to play these instruments really quickly.
So you DJ also too? Or?
Yeah, I've been DJing
okay.
for the past 12 years. That's how I know Orly. I've been DJing for the past 12 years or so. In this time frame, I incorporate these sounds into my music, into a more tribalistic, organic sound.
When you produce, like you make your own music.
When
you
I
go to
produce-
powwows a lot, so you're listening to to all that stuff, all that kind of music too. I used to go to
Yeah, yeah.
powwows all the time.
Oh, definitely.
I lived in Utah for a while, and
okay,
like
okay.
there's a lot of Native Americans, a lot of Navajos,
Yes.
and then a lot of Polynesians. So we would always be going to the powwows
Oh,
and stuff.
yes, yeah. We're all connected to dance and music in that way, you know?
That one.
Yeah, I know. I want to see how do you even play it.
Yeah,
That's what I've been thinking this whole
I
time.
think that one has to do with breath, right?
Definitely. So this
way
is
you
called
breathe.
a didgeridoo. This is a special travel didge that I take with me. I thought about the space that we're using here. Usually didgeridoos are long. I have about 5 of them in different materials. I'm not too sure what wood is this. And so the way you play this is if you play like a trumpet, kind of like horse lipping it, right? And you capture that sound inside of this hole right here. And so I'm just going to pair it right here with this shaker, and I'm going to give you guys a little sample.
Oh yeah. That is very cool.
How you feeling, Dr. Page, over there?
I'm loving it. Hi, guys.
Thank you. Such an honor. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
cool, man.
That's dope, man. We got one more.
Okay, yes.
Are you good right now, though? You're taking all the air out of you.
No, we can do this all night, all day. So sometimes
I didn't want you to be like passing out on us. You know what I mean?
That's what he
For
does.
hours.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Sometimes we have ceremonies that last 3 days. Sometimes
really?
we have
Yeah.
like overnight
How do you
sound
stay
healings.
up?
We take little naps, but sometimes, for instance, the peyote medicine, you're up for a long time. Sometimes you don't sleep for a day or two, and it's
Dang.
just life energy. But I
Good
do
shit.
recommend to have.
When you're done, do you crash for like 2 or 3 days? I mean, have you ever slept 2 days
Like, come
straight?
down.
No,
Come
never
out.
slept for 2 days straight for sure.
Okay.
I take care of my body and I take care
Yeah.
of my health and my mentality. You know.
So the come down isn't bad. Like it's like a.
No, not necessarily. You don't really get come downs from the medicine because it doesn't necessarily deplete your serotonin or anything like that. It helps you replenish yourself.
Wow.
We do take care of everybody, especially if they're going through a very intense situation. We help them nourish themselves. Sometimes people do forget or they're not cognizant of that because they're going through a lot of trauma the days before. They come to a ceremony. Their spirit is outside of their body. They're trying to like access a part of themselves. So we definitely do a good job taking care of people in that way. And so, but like I said, we do overnight sound healings. We do this for hours on end. We take little breaks and
I have
stuff.
a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just because I'm sure the listeners want to know, has anybody died from this?
Okay, yes, 100%. People have died from this.
What part?
100%.
Like what part are you talking about? Like.
In different ways.
He's all scared now.
No, not at all.
He's always freaking out.
Listening to it or like.
No,
He's all man. I'm leaving.
not at all, no. So with me and the families that I work with and the different traditions that I work with, nobody has died, and that happens with malpractice.
Right.
That happens when you're not taking the right steps to ensure that the patient is ready for this type of thing. You know, there's a lot of conditions pertaining to different medicines that people are advised not to.
Like if you have heart problems or high blood pressure type thing.
Yes, certain things. Yes, for ayahuasca, for cambo, for bufo, it's all going to be different. And so when people aren't educated in that, when they jump the gun and say, "Oh, I did 3 ayahuasca ceremonies, I'm ready to heal people," it's not like that. You know, like these ceremonies, these medicines take a very long time to really study, and if you're not careful, you can definitely do a lot more harm than you can do good. And
What's
so-
your opinion, both of you, on ketamine? Have you tried it?
Yeah. And so ketamine, I can't say that I have tried it. I have a lot of friends who try it, but not necessarily in the therapeutic sense. They kind of self-medicate, and it helps them for a while. But without that guidance and without that container, I have noticed, with no judgment, people definitely go downhill after a while. But I do believe in clinical studies of ketamine. I have never tried it myself, but I do have people who have doctorates in certain degrees of psychology, and they utilize these medications for people's growth, and it does help people in that way. So if you get the right professional help, I believe these molecules can definitely help you in that way.
What do you think, Dr. Page?
I mean, it's still synthetic, so I think I would choose
Me too.
plant medicine over synthetic.
Me too.
But it does. I've heard of it because I've worked with clients that have concurrently been doing it. It will reveal things
Yeah,
and
it's a big
memories that
rage
they
right
forgot.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get ketamine, low dose therapy for trauma, and it's all over social media.
Wow.
But it's
Dare program.
yeah. But there's like a part of the soul and the spirit and the spirituality that must be healed concurrently with whatever you're doing. And sometimes I don't know if the medication route that way can do that as well as some of the plant medicine with its energy and the intentions and those energetic guides within.
I feel like this was a perfect first and second interview because you guys kind of
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. I don't know how this happened, but it worked out.
The universe had a plan, you know?
I mean, what he does is really big right now. And there's a lot of people seeking this type of treatment. A lot of people I know. And I know people that have done it and they swear by it. So,
Let's try this now. Let's hear the
harmonica?
Harmonica, okay.
I've heard the harmonica, but that first one, that one got me.
This one, yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, this one
That was
is
dope.
this one's the instrument that's most connected
He wants
to
me
me.
to cry so bad. Like, so bad. I don't know why.
Release it.
It's like, what the
Release it.
yeah.
I release it all the time.
Did you make me cry?
Not yet.
I'm not gonna have it.
She said she's done with the worst of them.
She's all not yet. That's just, I don't know why he wants that so bad. It's like, what's the point? You know?
You need it. You need it.
Maybe all of us need to cry a little bit. Maybe all of them.
Go for it. Let's go. Let's go right now. Glasses off. Let's do it.
Laughing looks like crying with no tears.
Yeah, see?
And laughing is good for you.
And we're laughing.
I laugh all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So see, there we go. That's what took the place.
There it is.
Or it can mask what's really going on.
Like Robin Williams.
Man.
Oh, rest in power, rest in paradise.
Oh yeah, let's hear the harmonica.
Listen up.
You guys gonna make things a little
Boy.
awkward. You know, you guys gonna make things a little awkward. You know?
Anyways, harmonica. Let's go.
Awesome, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. And so this style of harmonica playing is utilized a lot in Colombia and Ecuador in the yaje ceremonies with the taitas out there. So I have a teacher from the Seburuco and Coreguaje tribe named Cesar, amazing medicine man, amazing shaman, has helped me a lot in life. And so this is a sample of that type of playing.
That was dope. Dope. Loved it.
So the harmonica is very Western, right?
Very, very.
Old West.
Very
so
Old West, yes.
Did the harmonica make its way from America there, or who had the harmonica first?
Definitely. The harmonica, I believe, quote me if I'm wrong in the comments or wherever, but I believe it's from Europe. And so, as well as the stringed instruments, the guitar is also used in many ceremonies. So in traditional ceremonies from South America, traditionally it's just a rattle, the voice, like prayers, and tobacco, or some kind of smoke with the medicine or without the medicine. You don't need to ingest anything in order to make it to a certain level. Yes, it does help you a lot, but 100%, I will tell all the viewers here, you don't need to ingest anything in order to make it to a certain level. You just have to be present and feel what you have inside and let it flow through you.
What are the levels?
There's infinite levels for sure.
No, but like what's your level? Is there a number?
Level of what?
It's more like he means like more like
is there a
energy. He means
rating?
like energy, like more of like an energy of level.
Yeah, but how do you distinguish who's at a higher level than
That's-
the other person?
Oh, definitely. There's nobody wiser than the other person. There's nobody
wow.
more healed than the other person. Each one of us have medicine for each
See,
other.
I'm healed.
You know what I mean? No one's perfect.
I don't believe.
Well, I mean, you can feel each other's stuff, though. So you know if someone's nervous system's super sympathetic nervous system dominant, so fight, flight, freeze, stuck on, you can feel an individual that way. I
Well,
mean,
let me
that's-
ask you, just sitting here, you two, between Rico and Jacob, who's at the
And
higher
Eddie,
level?
Eddie, you gotta bring the host
Who's at the highest
in.
level? I mean, who are you feeling that might be a little more elevated than the other? It's just for discussion.
Well, that really depends, because, we can say we're super spiritual and Zen and all this stuff, but, like, in the background, we can be going home and just, like, not paying attention to our personal life.
Yeah.
In the background, we can be, like, cutting people off and getting mad at things
You see,
like
guys?
that.
Listen.
You know what I mean? So it's like no one's perfect. We
Yeah.
all came here as humans to learn in this school of life, And so to say I am more healed than you is an ego, and you have to make your ego your amigo. You can't just kill it because without it, without
You're a
it,
narcissist.
you become numb, you become ill-minded. Your character, your avatar is very important here. So you can't let it override you, but you have to learn from it in that way.
What's the first thing the listeners, if they want to get into this and they want to take this journey, what's the first thing they can do? Like, what are some of the first steps?
Be very patient. Do a lot of research on your facilitator. Ask vital questions such as where did you receive your training from? What tribe are you from? How long have you been practicing? Look their name up on every search engine you can, because unfortunately, like in everything in life, there's a lot of imposters here that are only interested in taking your money and siphoning your energy, and a lot of people who work with the dark. And so if you're listening to this right now and you're looking for this healing, be patient, be calm, be collected with your approach. Let it come to you from a trusted source.
And
Hands down.
And Orly said that's my brother in the glow. Speaks all the truth, genuine soldier of light.
Much love, Orly. Thank you so very much. We're fighting the good fight out here. Muchas gracias. Yeah.
So is there just like with the powwow, is there certain dances for like what you guys do? And,
Definitely. Every tribe share dances. It's very unique to all tribes from all over the world, not just Native American tribes. All tribes all around the world usually have some form of dance. The dance is a form of prayer. A lot of people liberate a lot of trauma, a lot of confusion in life through the dance of life. And so there's different dances for certain things, such as like sunrises, sunsets, rain dances, healing, grieving dances, So it depends on which tradition we're talking about and where it comes from and the intention that we move our bodies for,
So, anything else, Dr. Page? Because I feel like you have some things to say. I can see you moving over there.
You see how the hands clench?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Analyze. I feel like the best thing, we're on a podcast, right? So the only way we know things is when we talk. So I feel, and on here, this is always a safe spot. I feel like you could just tell us what you're thinking about whoever, and just go for it, because this is we have fun with it. You know what I mean? There's no hurt feelings or nothing like that kind of stuff here.
I know.
Put people on blast. It always works. Even me, I don't care. Put me on blast. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I do think that with the plant medicine, I mean, because I've had certainly psychotherapeutic clients that would never be ready for some of that. So it's just, it's kind of what you're called to do and what you're ready to do, and don't think that you can't reach a level finding things in the subconscious programming without it. And like you talked about the breath work and the sounds alone. And I use sounds as what drops people in and has some of these same tools on there. But was made by a sound healer in Maui because, we value our sound healers that know what they're doing and can shift individuals into being able to work within the waves of possibility within our subconscious field. But yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this, it's probably a sign. That's all I can say.
I mean, it's interesting, like, that this is what you would listen to when you go to sleep or want to relax.
Yeah.
It sounds like some.
Yeah, and then why is that? There's
It's
got to be a
soothing.
reason for it, right?
Like you said, your ancestors. It's something that sounds familiar.
Right.
You know what I mean? That could be that. I mean,
Like food, your ancestral food or what you eat from when you're little. It takes you home. That's why everybody likes a good home cooked meal, right?
sure, it brings back memories. Yeah.
What's that?
Brings back memories.
Yeah, but it also takes you somewhere.
For
Food,
sure.
music.
The senses.
And what do you think about the light? Because she was talking about. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
The photobiomodulation.
Is it like the red therapy light?
The
I've had that
red or-
before, and I recommend it to everybody. If you're scared to try medicine, I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah,
What
it's
is that?
very
Red
safe.
therapy?
It's very safe.
Tell them a little bit about it. Pretty
photobiomodulation.
trippy. It's pretty trippy.
Well, there's a lot of light and light colors in the spectrum. It's the whole rainbow. So if you come all the way over from UV, ultraviolet, then you start getting into your blue, your purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, and then near infrared, and then far infrared. And so every single one does a physiological implication on our system. So even with when you're looking at the sun in that spectrum, it's like, oh, we get it and we then produce vitamin D, which is not necessarily a vitamin, it's more of a hormone, but same kind of thing. So you get into the spectrum of like blue. Blue's really amazing for serotonin. And then, of course, it helps kill like bacteria on the face or whatever because it doesn't penetrate the skin. But if you did open up, there's actually Dr. Chet Maratz at University of Washington. He's putting the blue light next to the spinal cord after you cut the spinal cord on mice, and it's regrowing the spinal cord. So it's frequency
What the
medicine.
heck?
We're all just biophoton light, right? We all need light. And so then you get into like the green, and the green's really cool when it comes to puncturing the adipose tissue so the lipids seep out, which red helps a little bit with that too, but green's good for that. Then you get into yellow. It's going to be good for some skin issues and some of that stuff. And then you get into like the orange-red, and the orange-red is really good for collagen production. They all go a certain depth within the tissue. And so then when you start getting into the near-infrared, that's the good one it stimulates the mitochondria, so the powerhouse of the cell, to strengthen in number and size. And really the only other way to do that is to exercise, or the fountain of youth, right? And the energy within the mitochondria is increased. Then you're able to release nitric oxide, which is an antioxidant that combats free radicals. And so it's really the fountain of youth. But it's great for head injuries and just chronic pain and so on.
Like-
Did you know about any of this? I didn't know.
Yeah,
anything.
no, I knew about it, but I just don't want you to get confused and go get Skittles and start eating different colors.
I just never knew about that.
No, but yeah, no, I've heard about light therapy, and
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
but I'm wondering where it originated from. There, so
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking too. Right
being in
now.
the sun more, and what about those people that didn't have the sun or lived in climates that were different? So there had to be some light source, right? But maybe that's with the clouds where the blue light comes from, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all need light, though. We are light beings, so it's really important. But yeah, so it's adding energy back.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I never even heard of that kind of stuff. It makes sense to me. It just, I have been hearing about we are light energies, and there's so much going on about that right now that I'm seeing that I never really thought of.
So, what venues do you DJ at, and what genre of music is it, or would you call it that you do?
Right now, I'm really focusing on what's called broadly organic house music. It's tribalistic, and so I incorporate sounds not just from my native cultures, but from cultures of the Middle East, Oriental cultures, African cultures. And my intention with the DJ sets is to utilize the frequencies in my productions in order to harmonize the space. And I think about everybody's cells. I think about everybody's photons of light inside of the space. There's a venue that I've been working with a lot called Members in Hollywood. It's like a Moroccan palace. The sound system is very, very tuned nicely, and a lot of people appreciate that side of the music. So it's a very niche audience. Usually older people who are more grounded and centered, people who are appreciators of their ancestry. And so definitely it's a journey to share and to introduce people to these new sounds and to get the feedback saying, I felt so liberated. I can finally dance once and for all thanks to you. And I always just give it up to God, because without the universe, without the creator, we're not able to do any of this,
Is there any festivals coming up?
There are a few festivals coming up. I was going to play at Disclosure Fest this weekend. However, they canceled it because of the fires.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, a Disclosure Fest is amazing. I've gone every year, and it's a lot of really beautiful keynote speakers that talk about high-level consciousness topics. This was going to be my first year. However, this weekend we have a private gathering called Moon Tribe. It's been happening for 31 years. I'll be performing there as well. That's kind of where I got initiated into the underground from playing there about 5 years ago. And since then, the career has been blowing up in the positive direction that I was always seeking in life.
Where's that at?
It's going to be at a private campground. I can't disclose the
Oh,
information
okay.
because it's an email list. And
Gotcha.
a lot of
gotta get
people,
invited.
yeah, I
Email
can
us.
invite you. I can definitely invite you guys if you want to come. Most definitely, it's a
Why don't you
donation
go
to come.
check it out?
Yeah. There's a bunch of people like me out there. You guys probably like it. I don't know.
Like what?
A bunch of people like me, just
Oh, cool.
cool
Everybody
vibes,
chilling.
Chill
How many
vibes.
I usually show up to something like this.
It really depends on the weekday because I see the full moon here, and I saw the wolf, and so I was like, okay, there's a symbology that I'm very connected to the moon in that way, and so it depends. If it's on a Tuesday, maybe a couple hundred people come on out. If it's on a if it's on a weekend, the most people I've seen is probably like 3,000, 4,000 people. It's like a mini Burning Man, but just different rules in that sense. Very bare boned. Is just the light of the moon, a fire, and sound system. And the sound system is called Function One. It's usually like $250,000. It's like super high def.
No, I heard about
Do
those
people
email
drink
ones. It's
and
gonna be a
eat
crazy
or
one.
partake in medicines?
It depends on everybody. There's a large group out there that are sober. There's a large group out there that are party people. We definitely respect everybody, and we always incorporate in the emails to practice moderation due to the fact that we're in the desert, we're out of the city, and we're under the full moon, and the waves.
We're gonna be
inside of
howling.
us. Yeah, a lot of howling out there. Yeah. It's so,
What do people wear to something like that?
I see people like us all the time, just like wearing what we do. Some people get into their festive gear. Some people get into certain costumes. But
You gonna go to Dr. Page?
I want to get invited.
Yeah.
Is it all night?
Usually it's 24 hours. It's usually like a $10 or $20 donation if
Where
you
do you
have it.
sleep?
You sleep in a tent or in your car or someone else's tent. I don't know.
I've heard
That's
about
up to
that.
you.
Okay,
That's up to
I know
you.
what kind of this
That's
is.
up to you.
It's gonna be insane. When is it? You said?
It's going to be happening this weekend. This is the 31st anniversary, so it's
I
a
do not
4-day
have my
long
kids
one.
this weekend. This
No,
is like
what I'm
perfect
saying
timing.
is we should put
It's about 3
ourselves-
hours away from
we
here.
should
That's all I
get
can
to know
disclose.
these type of things because it's going to make us better
So
hosts.
you guys down?
Yeah.
You guys down for Woodstock? Or
I'm
what?
down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I have a tent.
Yeah.
I have
Let's
a
do
tent.
it.
Who has the RV? Who has the RV?
Are we all invited over here?
Yeah, everybody's
Oh, here it
invited,
is.
yeah.
Let's do
Be
it.
down.
The rule is we don't invite anybody that we wouldn't trust in our own house.
Yeah.
And so there's only people that sometimes we get scallywags, sometimes we get knick-knack
Is Orlando
paddywhacks.
going?
Scallywags,
Or
I love it.
Orly actually said he said no more lit ratchet house parties.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I know you can't say where it's at.
Uh-huh.
It's private.
It's about
But
3
how
hours away.
far?
It's about 3 hours
About
away.
3 hours.
3 hours
so you got
away.
a 3-hour drive.
A little bit, yeah. But usually it's in the Mojave Desert, somewhere around Barstow, somewhere around, in those stretches.
Oh, let's
Um,
roll.
And usually the address or the directions are released the day of. And it's a very small email list that people get it to, and then we're responsible for who else are coming with us.
$20 donation.
Yeah, well, this weekend it'll be a $50 to $80 donation because it's 4 days. It starts on Friday, it ends on Monday. There's a nice stream coming through the camp, very cold water, so a lot of shade too. a lot of great people out there, and it's a family gathering. There's children there, there's elders there, there's people of all ages, all walks of life there, sharing their wisdom, sharing their love, sharing
It sounds
food.
really cool.
Like you could bring an RV.
You can bring an RV.
Well, you just go for one day, I think. if
You can
you
go
want
for one
to.
day, yeah. Just
You know?
try it out, dip your feet in. You might stay for all 4 days. Who knows? No, but yeah, some people just come for one night and they just leave. But usually it's just like a 12 or 24-hour thing. Especially in the summer, we don't want to be out there in the extreme heat. Somebody can get hurt.
Cold at night in the desert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Solstice on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. So we're.
He sounds
very-
all excited. Look at that.
Yeah. We're.
Bathe in the stream, right?
You
bathe
can
in the
definitely.
stream.
Yeah. You can definitely get in.
Rico will be in there.
You can definitely get in.
This smash, I was taking.
I want to see Rico in his festival gear. Like, what do you wear in something like this?
My
Rico?
short shorts and
Shorts are like all the way to his neck.
my fitted hat. You know what I mean? Just my chains.
Yeah. Everybody's
wears is
welcome.
shades and
man.
his shorts.
Everybody's welcome.
That's very cool.
Everybody's welcome.
No shirt.
Come on through.
And food. Do people barbecue and all
People barbecue, people cook, people bring whatever food, people bring food to share. It's a tribe out there.
Yeah.
As long as you're open to making friends and connecting with certain parts of yourself, you will make you will have those reflections out there with you. And I've met some of the best people in my life through Moon Tribe, and I've also met the people who brought me on to going to my very first shamanic plant medicine ceremony. So
This is cool.
so yeah.
I'm in. Are you in, Eddie?
I could definitely go one day.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one day too.
One day?
Yeah, come on through.
What about
I'm
you,
not
Paige?
I'm not in no tent with anybody.
No. I'm gonna have my own
Yeah,
tent.
yeah,
Do
you
the
can
RVs. Do the
definitely do
RVs.
that.
Do the RVs. We're in RV.
I got tent too, though.
Yeah, but RV you have
Huh?
to rent one, and it takes,
Yeah.
you have to have a couple days notice to get one.
Yeah.
People do get U-Hauls. People do get U-Hauls, and they set up their little space in the back of the U-Haul. People
You're
do
right.
that. People
You're
do
right.
that.
You sure can use it. Yeah, but you just can't burn anything inside it with the door closed. People don't know.
Yeah.
I was in the army, so you learn all that.
Oh, hey,
stuff.
thank you for your service, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Much love.
You learn about what to do and not to do at campsites and all that.
Yeah, thank you for sure.
So we're running out of time, but I wanted to kind of go around the room real quick. I just wanted to. How was your experience on How's Over Bass today podcast?
Oh, it's been very fluid. It's been very nice. Upon coming in, I heard you guys talking to Dr.
Paige.
I thought it was Paige. I just didn't want to ruin your name. Excuse me. I heard you guys talking to Dr. Paige here, and I was resonating with all of the topics coming through, and I'm like, oh, there's something happening here. There's something
It's
more.
going hand in hand with you guys. with you guys.
Definitely. So I'm very honored and I'm very blessed. And once again, thank you, Liza, for setting this up for us.
Thanks, Liza.
Thank you for the connection. And once again, I'm a Fontana local here, so I'll be tuning into your guys' podcast.
Appreciate that.
And if there's anything that you like, anything up and coming, or your page, if you want to let the people know where to find you at, or
Oh, definitely, yeah. You can find me on Instagram. I have a private Telegram channel for the ceremonies. I don't really post too much things on public eyes in the ceremonies because it's a very protected, vulnerable energy. But when it comes to the music, you can definitely contact me there. I have a couple birthday parties coming up the next month coming up. And if you guys are ever looking for fun, positive things, safe things to do, you guys can always hit me up. I can recommend places, for all types of different activities, not just going out and dancing, things that are more restorative like cacao ceremonies or song circles, you guys can definitely hit me up for that and I'll be happy to help you out.
I'm down the road of those.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
I really like the instruments too.
I think this is Orly. He said how similar to the mainstream alcohol is I don't know what
Wachuma.
Hachuma, yeah.
So it's not similar at all. You kind of do feel like if you do get like a little tipsy, but essentially, I stopped drinking because of the Wachuma. And here and there, I will have a few drinks with my family, or if we're celebrating something, it'll be something like wine or something like that. But definitely, there was probably like 7 or 8, maybe 9 years of my life I didn't have a drop of alcohol because I was following the same footsteps of my father, of his father. And it was thanks to a very deep dosage of the Wachuma that was displaying everything for
I
me.
need to have this Wachuma.
It's very hard opening, very
For
hard
sure.
opening. I have definitely
Wow, that's very cool.
healed a lot of things.
What is
with
Wachuma again?
Wachuma is called San Pedro cactus. It's a relative to the peyote cactus.
Okay.
It just comes from South America.
And
It's like
how
a
do you
make it?
Do it daily? Do you just do it one
No,
time?
it depends on what you want. So a lot of people take it for health reasons. My father takes it for his diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, and sugar. It helps him out a lot with that in small doses where you can't even feel anything, right? When we're talking about a ceremony, say we're gonna attempt to tackle something that's been hindering you for years. We're gonna go ahead and dive in. Then we concentrate a tea. Very, very, very concentrated, and the process can take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours or more, depending on how much you're willing to let go and how long the energy needs to be with you. And the whole time we're attentive, the whole time we're very, very present, making sure that everyone feels very respected, especially in those new spaces that they're finding themselves in.
That's a trip, dude. All this stuff is so brand new to me. I know nothing about this at all.
Now you
This
do.
is so brand new.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have
definitely.
to open your mind, right? Because
Yes.
I feel like
if
on
you don't know, you don't know.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's gonna be like on Young Guns, you know, and they're all taking the stuff and they're like on the horses and shit. backwards.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar.
all
But
the-
I'll probably watch it with my dad. He likes those Western movies. For sure. Young Guns.
So how was your experience, Dr. Page?
It was amazing. You guys accommodated my tardiness, and so I was grateful for that, and grateful that I could still hopefully reach someone out there that's needing any of this stuff, right?
Definitely,
I
definitely.
feel like we
That's
gotta definitely have you guys back on again. I feel like it'd be great to have them both on a DNR. Let's see how these people will react to that.
Well, I mean, because they come from a very good place, what I see. Yeah, but then it might be. I see. The thing is, when some of the people on the DNR, I don't know if they would have respect enough for.
They probably won't, but we
But
just
then
flow
it's
with the
why-
flow. You know?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
with the
but then I don't even think some of those people deserve.
We got some. We got
Talk with
man.
them.
Some of these people are
Their
just all messed
mindsets
up
are.
in the
I mean,
head.
everybody is.
I'm talking about from porn stars
Oh,
to
okay.
OnlyFans girls.
There's some
Okay.
really good ones.
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
some really good
people.
girls on there. Yeah, but then
But-
we'll have like a mom mixed in with like a porn star though. You know what I mean?
Okay, I feel you.
So
You
it
gotta
gets-
have an open mind.
We gotta have her in here to break them down. Like, listen, this is what have you gone through to make you feel this way?
And
Maybe-
you know why
maybe-
she wears the big rings, right? To punch you. To get out of line.
hey, one more thing. Actually, could you play that?
The first one?
Yeah, the
Of
first one.
course.
One more
No,
time.
as an
Yes.
outro.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
And then
Of
after,
course.
after he's done, everybody say shed the sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So I'll play the same, but I'm gonna instead of holding this finger, I'm gonna hold this finger, and you guys will experience a different scale here.
And take your time. You know.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Gracias.
Very, very,
Very
cool.
Everybody say shed. Look at the camera. Say shed the sheet.
Shed the sheet.
Shed the
sheep.
sheet.
Woo!
That was great.
That was.
Thank
cool.
you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you everybody for watching. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We're getting we just hit 370,000 views. We just hit the
wow.
370,000 views. That happened last night. So that was, you saw that too? That's all. I've been waiting for that to hit the 70. We've been
Milestones.
we've been at the 65 for a while, but we just got to 370,000 views. Thank you everybody for watching, and then we're at 36,000 right now.
Subs, yes.
Like yeah, It's 30, almost like 36,600 subs right now. We're getting close to 37. So I just want to thank everybody for watching, everybody for subscribing.
That's very important.
We are monetized, so things are going now. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, building. I want to thank everybody for watching. How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
Eddie Millis.
And we are out.